Metro Houston. I am the founder and CEO of Goodr, and I bring you greetings on behalf of the entire company. We are so thrilled to be here at Huffman Middle School with Birmingham City Schools to open our first ever Goodr grocery store inside of a Birmingham City middle school. So thank you. Tell you guys a bit of the history of this, and it's very funny. So to you, Clint Woods, I really appreciate you because Clint came and visited our very first store that I opened in September of 2021. So I want you guys to think about this is not an overnight thing. This has been a very intentional and purposeful build that we have. Him and a group of people came from Birmingham. They drove down to Atlanta. They visited the middle school, McNair Middle School. They spoke to the principal, they spoke to the guidance counselor, and he said, I really want to bring this to Birmingham. And here we are nearly 4 years later, actually about to cut the ribbons to this store. So this was not an overnight journey. I'm really excited about this. When I first built that store in 2021, I had one vision, and what I told the superintendent then, he gave me an opportunity when I had this crazy idea, because these things don't happen. I said, hey, I don't want to build a food pantry. I want to build a grocery store because I believe that hunger is not an issue of scarcity. It's a matter of logistics. And if kids don't live and their families don't live near a grocery store, what happens is they start to shop at the Dollar Tree, in the corner store, and they don't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. And why middle school is such a critical era is because the kids in this school, not only are they thinking about what they're going to eat, this is when I think they start to have what I would call the burden of care. They're worried about their little brothers and sisters, they're making meals, they're really starting to become the adults in the household, specifically if their parents are working, more than one job. And what statistics show us is middle school is make or break. And so if a child doesn't feel cared for, and they don't feel whole in this space, they start to think, I may not make it to high school, I may not graduate. And we see that 10th grade is when we see a lot of drop-offs, but statistics show us 8th grade is when we see a lot of the decisions. And so this is a very critical moment, because what I believe is that no matter how great of a teacher you are, you can never teach through hunger. And it doesn't matter if you get free breakfast or free lunch. If you go home and you don't have dinner, what happens is when you come in, that breakfast replaces the dinner, the lunch replaces the breakfast. And so you have students that are sitting in class often wondering when and where their next meal is going to come from, and no teacher could ever teach through hunger. And so today, when you guys get a chance to see this grocery store, now that we're taking that burden, we're taking that worry away, and that kids are going to have access to food. And when we come back, we'll be able to say that all the kids are well here at Huffman, and I'm really excited. So thank you all so much for having us here. Thank you again, Clint Woods. Thank you, Superintendent, and all the people from Birmingham that are here to support us. And I am excited to turn it on over to, all right,
I want to thank Jasmine from Goodr. As she indicated, a few years ago, Councilman Woods came to us and he said, we want to open a grocery store in the school. And so we had to work through all the logistics of what that looked like. Well, one of the things that I did know was this. During the pandemic, Birmingham City Schools was closed for many, many months, right? And one of the first things that we thought about was, how do we put technology in the hands of our students? But that really wasn't the problem. We quickly realized that we had to put food in the stomachs of our children, because those same meals that many kids just a week before we shut school down laughed about were the meals that kids needed in order to survive. And so one of the things that we did was we continued to have our cafeterias open during the entire pandemic. We would feed children during the week, and then on Fridays we would give them enough food in bags to take home over the weekend. Our bus drivers would go into the community and provide food. This is a real issue, and when Councilman Woods came with this idea, I said, this is a perfect opportunity for us to marry the need that our students have with the ability to provide a service for our community. And so I'm extremely excited to be a part of this. Our school board has invested a lot of resources into Huffman Middle School. As you can see, we're in a brand new gym. When you go into the grocery store, you'll see that this is a real high quality grocery store. But also we have an ed farm space here where kids are getting top-notch technology instruction. When we say Birmingham City School success starts here, we're talking about the work not only that our teachers do, not only that our principals do, but what our community does in order to ensure that all of our students have what they need in order to be successful. So thank you, Councilor Woods, and I'm going to ask that our principal come up, and no, I'm going to ask our board member, who has really been a true advocate for District 1, to come up, and then I'll have our principal give the readings. Ms. Collins.
Well, good afternoon. I will be brief. It is a pleasure to be here and to serve in this capacity, as well as to be here at this time. Thank you to Councilor Woods for the vision of bringing this grocery store to our district, and more importantly to Huffman Middle. I think we started out as Smith.
We did.
Yeah. And but I'm so glad it was able to come here to Huffman Middle, and I'm sure the students and the parents will greatly appreciate the opportunity that this is providing for them. There's a lot of exciting things going on here at Huffman Middle, and this is just one more. And I'm just so proud to have done my small part to make sure it happens. So thank you to all the community for coming out, those advocates, you all. Make your voices be known, and this is why projects like this happen in our community. So thank you, and once again, welcome to Huffman Middle.
Good morning. Almost. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to Huffman Middle School. Our scholars at Huffman Middle School are in a rare position to receive an outpouring from our community, and I'd like to thank our superintendent, Sullivan. I'd like to thank our Councilman Woods. I'd like to thank our board, colleagues, and all of the members of the Board of Education, the Goodr Corporation, for allowing us to take part in this wonderful pilot program for middle school and choosing Huffman Middle School. Thank you. It's such a wonderful opportunity. You know, at Birmingham City Schools, and I heard our superintendent say, we always say that success starts here. But today is a momentous day because at Huffman Middle School, we can proudly say that in addition to success starting here, hunger starts here. As a principal, as an administrator of Birmingham City Schools, we're on the front line. We get a chance to see a lot of the effects that hunger has on a student, not just academically, but socially. It has a great effect. And so an opportunity to have fresh food, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, that will have an impact, an immediate impact on our students and their ability to achieve those higher heights in education and in scholarship that we all want, because they are our future. Now, I'm just going to turn everything else over to our Councilman Woods, please.
Good afternoon, man. I'm so excited to be here. I think Jasmine alluded to earlier how long the process has been. Going back, I had a friend that told me about the work that Goodr was doing, but specifically what Jasmine was doing, and told me I needed to reach out. You know, put it on my list. I didn't do it right away, and I looked up, and around 2020, she did a Coke giveaway, and she had a little baby, and this huge thing in West Birmingham. And I was like, and then he called me and said, I told you to call her. You could have did that in District 1. And so we ended up getting connected, and I had the opportunity to see some of the impactful things that they were doing. And as she said, I took my team and went over to Atlanta because sometimes things can sound, you know, too good to be true. And so I had to go see it. And so we went out and spent the day kind of looking at several of their sites. They operated at middle school and just seeing how that worked and seeing the ins and outs. One, seeing it, did I feel like we could do it in Birmingham? Would it work here? Is it something that we could duplicate? I saw one of their sites in a senior housing town. And so it's a versatile thing that really fills a need, and seeing that people are actually using it, seeing that it is actually filling the void. And so we came back, you know, raring to go, committed to making something happen. And I personally came from the private sector, so I'm used to sitting in a room with the team and we make a decision and then we go do it. And so I quickly learned government is not quite that fast. And so we began working on it, touring sites. And I'll give you a little bit of backstory. We were looking at some things. We had the numbers together, everything worked. Then we had to go through the bid process, and things changed, and the state shifted some things. So by the time we got to the point we were ready to do it, we came back, and the numbers had changed a little bit. I got sticker shock, and so I paused and came back, and ultimately, just the vision of what they were actually doing in place, but even more, just Jasmine, a dynamic CEO, who was a true visionary, really could not allow Birmingham to miss this opportunity. And so you've heard from a lot of our school board representatives of the Birmingham City school system. So you can see with the caliber of people, the vision, the impact, the dedication and hard work, doing big things doesn't seem as difficult when there's so many impactful people here. You only have to be a small piece of a bigger thing. So much more becomes possible. So I'm appreciative to all the hard work that these men and women put in on a day-to-day basis. The principal changed, and the doctor came over early last year. I think Principal Matthews retired, and I was happy because he only came from Huffman Academy right down the street, so we were able to kind of pick up right there where we left off. But this is incredible for the impact that this will have on our students locally. I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of challenges our students face, and today we can often say that what the world looked like when we were growing up is not the same world that they're growing up in. So we have to adjust. We have to make the changes because it is our responsibility to make sure that they have as few hurdles as possible to being successful. We want to create as many positive pathways to success for all of them. And so that's just a small part of what we're doing. You can remember back kind of early 21, the city of Birmingham was presented with a roughly $151 million check in ARPA dollars from the federal government. And so this is residual from that. These dollars actually were handed down from the federal government. And when we got those dollars, we wanted to find ways to do impactful things that ripple well beyond the investment. And so I think this opportunity to pilot something creative that we think that I really believe will solve the problem, but we get the opportunity to pilot it, test it out, study it. We have a proven model that we've seen applied somewhere else, and so we're excited about it. And just very appreciative of Dr. Sullivan and Dr. Willis of Sherman College, because they'll tell you, like, we only have to talk about the good ideas, but I call them with a lot of ideas, and so the bad ones don't always make it out to the public. And so we're fortunate to be able to have somebody to have this conversation where you can say, hey, no, this doesn't make sense. Let's not do that. Oh, this is great. And so being able to have those open conversations, to have trust in their ability and their expertise in what they do on a day-to-day basis to give you that feedback, and be able to make things happen. So I'm excited. I am going to ask Jasmine to come back up and just talk a little bit more about the store itself, how it functions, how the students and their families can engage and interface with that. And so we'll bring her back up because she'll do a much better job than I will.
Well, I'm so excited again, Dr. Sullivan. I'm hoping that this is the first of many, right? So this is our first here. So how our store works, I have actually hired my father-in-law. So let's talk about job creation. Let's give it up for Harold Houston. We're retired here. We just recently retired last year from the city of Birmingham. So we actually go out and source all of the groceries. I think that's important to know. When you go into the store, you're going to see that these are items that you see in the grocery store you go into. This is not indented food. There won't be clearance stickers on the items. These meat items will not be expired. This is all fresh. It's all procured. We bring it in. We have a shopper in Harold who will go out and pick up what we order, bring it into our store champions that are actually staff members here at Huffman who will stock the store. Now, students and their families will have access to the store before school and after school during school hours, and we never limit the number of times the students come, but we have a certain number of slots per month, 200 slots per month that the students can sign up for. And what's important with that too, Dr. Sullivan, I want you to know, especially you, principal, when we come back and we look at the impact reports, we really know exactly how many times Jasmine signed up, how many students are in the household. We have a registration form. It's very simple. You have to put your student number, you have to be a student of Huffman, and then we like to know what zip code do you live in, how many people are in your household. What we will work with our store champions on is making sure that you're feeding the household and making sure that the kids aren't only taking Oreos, right? So it's kind of really important. That's important. You have to know, hey, you have 4 brothers and sisters, make sure you get some breakfast things, make sure you get this big, a bigger box of cereal, make sure you get some bread, and that's really where our store champions and us work together. So we, again, tried and true. Now this makes store number 29 that we've opened since 2021. We learned a lot. We had the kids that only got Oreos and the kids that only wanted ramen noodles because that's what they were used to. So beyond that, now we have recipe cards, we have videos, we work with healthy hip hop, so we have like a turn up green that kind of teaches kids what kind of meals they can make. We have some fun recipes that are available for the families. So we do want the children to be well-rounded in what they get, but they will have a reusable grocery bag. We'll make sure that all the students have one. We try and remove any kind of pride or stigma, so that's why we want to make sure that every student in the school has a bag, so that if someone sees the bag, they don't know that food's in it, but it's just an opportunity for everyone to be able to be engaged. There is a full 2-door refrigerator and a freezer in this store. There is a produce bin, so we have 6 fruits and vegetables that will always rotate. We have vegan options. We realize that everyone doesn't eat meat. We also have everything from pork to turkey bacon, so there are a lot of different options for the families to get. We individualize the drinks so that they can get more than one. So instead of getting a whole case of water, we take the water out of the case so that they can get it on the bus, and a lot easier instead of carrying something, put items in their backpacks. So I'm really excited to not only cut the ribbon, but just show you guys what this looks like. And this is a 2-year project. I think that's important to say that this is not just a one-time thing. This will continue over the course of the next 2 years. And so I think by the end of those 2 years, we should be able to say this is exactly how many students we impacted, and then that multiple effect, right? Because these students are taking this food home for their families. And so you got to think about the little brothers, the little sisters, sometimes the grandmothers that are living in the house, and everyone that gets to benefit from this. This is really powerful now. Since 2021, when we first opened this store, food costs have gone up 14%. That makes a very big difference, specifically for seniors, people that have retired, because their income doesn't go up. And I mention seniors a lot because a lot of students, to be honest, are being raised by their grandparents. And we need to think about that. We need to understand the real walk that our students are on. And so being able to supplement with free groceries for these families is going to be very critical. It becomes the difference. We've seen parents have told us, hey, I was able to put gas in my car to get to work. I was able to pay my light bill on time. These dollars, it seems very minuscule, but once you start adding it up, on average, most people that interact with Goodr on a monthly basis are saving between $900 and $1,200 a year. And so that becomes a big amount if you're able to have that back. So that's the power from this venture. It's a huge economic driver for the community, and I'm just really excited for you all to see it. So I just want to say thank you all so much. And again, everyone's hearing me tell the superintendent, I think we've got to get to some more schools because this is super powerful. We're going to cut the ribbon and then we'll do tours, and we actually will have some families that will shop with us today. So thank you again, Councilman.
I know we did a few interviews before we got started, but if there are any questions from the media, we'll take those, and then Adrian or Fred can tell us what we have to do as it relates to the ribbon cut. So any questions from the media?
Is this the first store in Alabama?
This is the first that we've ever done with Birmingham City Schools in a school. So we have one that's in kind of a community center, but this is the first that we've ever built in Birmingham. We have one in Alabama, but not in the school.
Anything else? Adrian or Fred?
As they're coming, I do want to just take a minute. I've got some neighborhood leaders here in the building, and Mr. Short, Mrs. Short, Ms. Gentry, Representative Spring Lake, President McNeil, Kilo Springs neighborhood. So they do an incredible job, and like I said, anytime we're investing in something they don't agree with, they're gonna let me know. So having them be supportive is important as well. So I do appreciate y'all service.
I want to recognize our board member who's here, Mr. Mayor Board. So raise your hand. Give us our next instruction.
She looks like she's in charge.
How tall she's in here. Thank you all for coming. We're going to shift to the ribbon cutting, so we would ask all media if you are going to, if you'll follow Ms. Marbury this way to get set up for the ribbon cutting, and then we'll